recording?
Yep.
Welcome back home. Fucking RightonQuelive, and we are live. And I'm in a good mood. What was I about to say? I don't know. But anyway, if you listen and subscribe and share, send it to your friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a friend to tell your ex, tell someone to tell your sexy auntie, tell someone to tell the auntie that fell off but still thinks she got it with the mustache, tell anybody that's willing to listen, subscribe and share right on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good shit. Also Spotify as well. And also, if you didn't know, now you know, I also made an album as well with a lot of music artists that I've had on the show. Shout out to all them. It's called We Are Live on any platform: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that good shit. Wherever you stream music at. If you want it legally, I can send you the files just to hear it. But yeah, RightonQuelive, We Are Live, RightonQuelive anywhere. Now to the guest we have today. Introduce yourself, miss.
How y'all doing? Thank you for having me. My name is Ashley Woods. I'm a new author. Been around the block. This is my second book, but it's like I came out with a mental health self-help book, so this is really my baby right here.
Okay, cool.
So,
And it's your first time doing a podcast.
yes.
Good.
So,
We love versions. We love podcast versions.
I'm literally a virgin.
New experience. So thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
So since this is your baby, let's talk about your baby.
So the title of my book is called She's Ill, and I picked that title because
And real quick, what was the name of the first one? I'm just curious. We won't get back to it.
it was a children's book called Alphabet Dreams.
Okay.
It's still available on Amazon. The publishing company I went through, they closed down, but it was just going through the alphabet of different careers kids could be. And it rhymed. So it was something cute.
All right, so we'll get back to that. But She's Ill. You said it was named that because?
I named it because I'm a dope person, but I also suffer from a mental illness, being PTSD. But the title just explains who I am. So I'm ill, meaning I'm dope, and I also got an illness. So.
Okay. And where does your PTSD come from? And
Some people think it comes from me being in the military, but it actually started in my childhood. I went through a traumatizing experience with my sister trying to kill me when I was 6 years old. She suffered from schizophrenia, and parents kind of pushed it under the rug. Nobody talked to me about it. Didn't understand the dynamic, so why, my sister wanted to do that to me. So as you
do y'all still communicate?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was just over my house yesterday. So, yeah, she can't, she didn't know what she didn't know. I'll put it like that. I probably would have beat her up if I would have known, like, you knew what you was doing and you wanted to do that. But, no, it was out of her control.
And was that like, of course you were 6, so you don't have, I would think it wasn't that possible to make that much sense at the time. But was it ever a time when you did like resent her or had a distance? Like, or was it always like a sense of, no, she doesn't understand it, I kind of forget it, I can move on from it?
I forgave her, but it was a period of time I used to be scared of her. Because I didn't know when that side was going to come back out. So I didn't know nothing about mental health. I don't think my parents even knew. They just knew like something was wrong with my sister, and they had to get her treated. So that was like, she was the first time I was ever exposed to 302 and Friends Institution and things like that. So a lot of people don't know that PTSD doesn't have to necessarily mean you was from the in the military. It can come from any traumatic experience you went through in life.
They just only get accepted for it, but you get, military of course is like, oh yeah, I understand, He saw someone die, so we can understand it, but niggas in the hood see someone die.
Yeah, but of course the military didn't help it with everything I was going through and things like that. And I wound up getting out and still being associated with it, but on a civilian contractor side. So I was living in Afghanistan and for 2.5 years.
As a civilian contractor?
Yeah. So
what is that exactly?
Basically, I work in a military institution, but I'm not in the military. I'm assisting them. I'm helping them. We're helping them, and they're protecting us and doing their job out there, and we're doing our job out there, making sure they're sufficient. So I was a generator mechanic in the military, so I wound up getting paid as a civilian contractor, which the pay is definitely different. But I don't have no gun now to protect myself. I don't have that protection no more. It's like I gotta depend on.
So even though you was in the military, once you're out working with the military, you can't carry a gun?
No, unless I was like security or I was doing a certain type of job that requires me to. So my life was in their hands. But trust me, when you out the military and you transition a civilian contractor, they kind of treat you a little different.
How so?
Well, you gotta understand, if I was still in the military and I was an E4 or E5, I'll make X amount of money, but it's not a lot to be overseas. They kick you up like 10%. You get a couple extra sentences, but it's nothing mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably better more so if you got time in. Contractor, automatic 6 figures.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking at you like, we're doing all this and protecting us, and y'all getting $100,000, and we're sitting over here on $45,000 to $50,000. So you get the looks. And I used to be like, I was one of y'all. Don't do this to me. So yeah.
Do you regret it?
Being in the military?
Mm-hmm.
No, because I wanted to get out of Philadelphia. I felt like I'd have been stuck. I feel like I probably would have been dead if I would have stayed. I signed up in my 12th grade year. I wanted to get out and just see something different than what I was seeing.
Why did you say you think it'd be dead? What type of stuff you was involved in certain things, certain people was around, or just your mentality?
Just like family with drugs and alcohol. And I found myself just partying a lot, not wanting too much of anything. I just wanted to be around different people with different experiences. I was just thinking it had to be more than life. And then I was just trying to run and escape other problems that I was experiencing growing up in the household. So running away from your problems is not good. That was my outlet. But I learned a lot in the 5 years I was in the military.
Okay. Yeah, my dad, he was in the military, I don't know, I should say 5 years tops, whatever. And at one point, I used to think that he would, like, I don't know, I've always had, like, an interesting perspective of his thing, because, like, he definitely wasn't one of those, like, career... I'm sorry, also, what branch were you in?
I started off in the National Guard Reserve, and then I switched over to regular Army.
Okay. Yeah, so he's in the Navy, and he definitely was never, like, one of those, like, yeah, hoo-ha, and to live and die for the Navy type shit, whatever. He used it because also like a different time when people was like out of high school and no real plan, go to the military, nothing else to do type shit, whatever. And he just used that as like, you know, what else I'm gonna do? But yeah, now he just be like finessing, to get checks for different things, whatever. but I used to think that he would be kind of like ashamed if I went there, like, cause like I gave you all these type of opportunities and things I wanted. You shouldn't have to do what I did. But no, now I ask him certain things. He's like, no, if you want to, I don't give a fuck, whatever. That shit pass, whatever.
I actually wanted to do the 20 years. I wanted to be a drill sergeant, and I had to get out because my heart just, I wound up having a heart condition, and it just wasn't working out for me.
Even though you were civilian, the heart was still affecting you.
Well, the civilian job, if you're a cardiologist, they'll pick it up. So once I knew I wanted a civilian job, I kind of like went to the gym to pace myself, so when it was time to take the test to pass, I can, they had a regular doctor, so I can pass. So I had to see a specialist to figure out what was going on with my heart. So when they test you for these civilian contracting jobs, it's like one doctor testing a bunch of people. All I did was just try to, pace myself. So when it was time to go, I made it through. But technically, I shouldn't have been over there, but I couldn't turn down $140,000.
Okay, totally. I respect it. Why a book? So now we can go back to the first children, but why ever write a book? And also tie it in, like, have you always been a reader? Have you always been a good writer? Like, where did this come from?
I didn't even do good at English in school.
Okay. Were you the person that had anxiety when he was calling people to read in class? Like,
no, like, I didn't mind. I read more like magazines, or I'm a big fan of Sports Center, so I read things like this. I'm an article reader, not heavy on the books. I read a few books, and right now I put a set time in my calendar to do Tuesdays and Thursdays to help me out. But it was therapy for me, because I don't believe in the medicine yet. I don't have faith in the medicine because I've seen how it altered my sister, and I just it controlled her. and they gotta keep playing with it and changing it and recalibrating it, and I didn't never want to go down that route. So I found that writing did it for me, and this book actually helped me. It helped me because I forgave my parents for a lot of things that I went through, and I'm not ashamed no more. But me telling my story gave me the strength to like inspire other people to like. They don't gotta write a book, but they can talk about it. They don't have to be ashamed.
Face your scars and issues and shit like that.
So me starting my healing was like knowing that I wanted to be there for other people made me feel real good. So this writing stuff is crazy. It was like this wasn't even my favorite subject in school, and now I'm an author. So it's pretty dope how life turns around full circle for you.
And what was the process? Like, how long did it take, and how did you write it, and what were any like setbacks or things you learned, or process?
I did was 3 years in the making, and then this past April 2019, I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I think I was always worried about like how my family gonna feel because you know I revealed certain things in the book. Not attach nobody names in it, but it's still certain people will read it and they'll catch on. Yeah. And I didn't want people to look at my parents bad because they made mistakes like any other parents did. You know, they might not know how to handle the situation back then. So I gotta be honest. I wanted to be transparent. So I just was like, you know what, I gotta do this. And I did it because both my parents' health started declining a lot, and I really wanted to get the book out before anything happened to them. Unfortunately, I just recently lost my father, but
because you wanted them to be able to read it?
I wanted them to like just share the whole experience with me, but it was good because he gave me his blessings. You know, he gave me his blessings. He knew that I was going to write it, but it took me 3 months to write it.
That's an interesting like exploration I hear from people. It's like, you know, growing up and like I guess like the first phase is like realizing, all right, yeah, my parents did some fucked up shit, or some things I wish they didn't do. Things they could have did differently. Some people take it as like, fuck them. Some people take it as like, fuck it, and I accept them for what they did. And some people take it as like, all right, now let's try to just change the perspective of it. It's like, I understand they are humans. Humans do make mistakes, whatever. They're not just my parents. They are just two human beings that were living life, and I can understand how these things can happen now, whatever.
That's because now when you get how people look at mental health now in 2019, how do they know how to deal with it in 1985?
This is like the past 10 years that a lot of this
so we just now getting help, tapping into certain things. They and our ancestors was just running around here crazy. And it was just like everybody knew something was wrong with that person. They ain't say nothing. It was an unspoken word. So you had to. In order, one of the things is in life, especially with your mental health, you got to learn how to forgive. Because everybody's not going to understand you. Everybody's not even going to respect what you're going through. And it's just going to be people that don't care. If you don't know how to forgive and just understand that people still going to look at you a certain type of way, it's going to take too much power over you. And I ain't want nobody having no power over my mind. I already deal with the battles I deal with now, so I didn't need no extra person or things having power over me.
Yeah, I definitely always have understood how fortunate I am to just have like two just solid parents that, like, you know, of course, you know, everything wasn't great. We didn't always agree perfectly and shit like that. But for the most part, everything, they was down for me. They had my back and they loved me. And they never really did nothing to just like, that was out of pocket. Like that, you know, Mama's crazy and all. But she never really just traumatized me to like a real degree. And my dad, me and him, just always been cool, whatever. But then I give them even more credit because they both come from those types of dynamics where both their both their households were in disarray in certain ways, and they both just had, and then they weren't even together most of my life, whatever. But they both came together and said, no, we gonna at least have this one accord and one union of like, no, we're not gonna try to fuck up this kid too bad type shit, whatever. And I definitely understood and realized that where like a lot of shit is wrong with the world and society stems back to the home. Like a lot of shit, just most of the shit, just like if these parents just didn't do these certain things, this kid would be fucked up. And they went go down the line, do all this other shit, and affect these other people, and so on and so on, whatever.
So a lot of people don't understand what happens in your childhood shapes who you are. And then if you don't deal with what happens with your childhood, it keeps traveling with you until you get older and older, and you mimic certain things, and that's a blessing in itself. Just even having a 2-parent household, or 2 parents that know how to co-parent. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people don't have that.
That hit me the other day too. I don't know why, but I was just thinking about, like, you know, I don't have a kid, and I was thinking about, you know, whenever the day comes, and let's just say me and a mother don't stay together, I was like, damn, like, I could never, and I'm not saying I'm gonna be a deadbeat, of course that would never happen, but I could never imagine any type of drama with the child's mother, because, like, my dad lived in Chicago my whole life, and it was never a sense of, like, disconnect or miscommunication. Yeah, great city. But he always was present. It was never like, oh, fuck my dad. They always communicated well. It never went to court. It was always been a great union, whatever. So I was like, who am I to ever have any type of interruption or disruption with my child, especially when in the same city? Like, I have no excuse. Like, my dad literally showed me the way. My mom showed me how a woman can be, regardless of being together or not, maturity-wise. So that just hit me the other day. It's like, no, I have no excuse. Like, I have to make it work to the best it can work whenever I have a child.
Yeah, that's pretty big shoes to fill. I know. I have friends who baby father might live around the corner.
Facts.
And they don't see them at all. So for them to live in it, I salute him, and that just shows what type of person he is, and that's something great to look up to. So that's a blessing in itself. You definitely can't mess that up.
Definitely failure. So you said it took you 3 months. So what was something like the hardest, if anything, like the hardest part, and what was the easiest part, like the strengths, weaknesses of it, and was it anything you learned or took from the children's book?
Well, with the children's book, it was geared towards children, and it was just trying to test my waters of writing. What I did take with them was just pace at my own self. Like, I try to, like, do it so quick. So, in this point in time, I did take a 3-week break from writing it. I'm writing the truth, so it's easier. So I'm not trying to put together a storyline and make things flow.
Rhyme and shit like that.
It was about, I'm giving too much, should I say this? It was more so a tug of war, like where I want this to go. Do I want it to be just a one-book thing, or do I want to explore and it be something else? So I kind of was thinking a little bit too deep. Kind of got that little writer's block a little bit. So that's what happened. But it really wasn't tough because it was the truth.
And you dealt with the writer's block just by stepping away. I always hear about that with writers and thinking
I thought I wasn't never going to get writer's block because I'm like, this is my story.
Yeah.
But no, I got into a funk where I didn't want to write, and then the person, publishing company I was with, she was just like, always call and check, weekly, see how I was doing, how I was progressing. So I did,
And is the format, like this, the structure of it, is it more so like an autobiography in a sense, or is it like you're using it at certain points in your life as lessons and talking about it? Like, what is like the format of the book?
It's like a mixture. So
Okay.
I'm giving people true life events that happen, and I'm giving them in short little chapters, and just suggesting them. That's why I call it a self-help book. I'm suggesting them ways and techniques through my pain, trauma, how to handle it if you're going through the same thing, or somebody's going through the same thing. And then I also give like tips and advice of certain things that I did to kind of like come full circle with addressing who I was and what was really my reality, and what I had and how I'm going to deal with this. So, because a lot of things work differently. I'm black, female, I'm lesbian, I'm a veteran, and I have mental illness. I got it from all angles.
Oh, I should stack up against you.
Yeah. But I'm going to beat those guys. I already beat them already, because this book just so shows how resilient I am, and it shows how resilient people are, because there's a lot of people who is probably by far did twice as much stuff as I've done, and they haven't talked about it. So it's like this book is just about rewarding people with some inspiration that fuck the diagnosis. You're still a good ass person. Like, your diagnosis don't dictate your character, your morals, or what you stand by and live by.
And has your sister read the book, or like what's her?
No, she hasn't read the book. She doesn't have probably the patience to read it. And she's on the go. Like the way her medicine works now, she can't stay in one spot. So when she come over my house,
Yeah,
she
y'all
kind of
talk
see in the
about
refrigerator.
it, or...
No, we don't talk about it. Like when the situation happened when she tried to kill me for like the next 10 years, every time she seen me, she used to be like, "I'm sorry, Ashley." I'm like, "You don't have to keep saying sorry. It's okay." But
how did you mind if I ask, like, what happened? Like, what was the incident?
I woke up from a nap. My sister's 17 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was probably an accident. So she called me to play a game with her, and this is my big sister. I was the baby, so my sister's 17 years older than my brother's 12. So I'm excited to do anything with them because they're in and out. I don't barely see them. And she put me in a bathtub, tied my arms behind my back. I had still my clothes on. It was filled up with water. She tied something around my mouth, and she began to proceed with a bat to just to say, Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds. She was about to hit me, something vicious, and my mom caught her. Wow. And my mom only caught her based off of I guess, typically my mom was like, I normally wake up and like kind of cry and ask for food. So when she heard me up and didn't hear anything from me, she was like, "Oh, let me come upstairs and just check on Ashley," because she knows my routine when I wake up from a nap. So her knowing my routine and checking up on me saved my life that day.
Wow, and you remember that vividly?
I tried to block it out, but the dreams started coming and then everything started piecing together. I try to block it out a lot of times and just leave it alone.
And so, like you say, so I know you say you've been through other things, but you would say the main source of your PTSD is from that event. And so how, yes or no?
Yeah, that was that. And then like I had a cousin of mine's father that kept making passes at me, trying to, get with me, lure you with money and things like that. And I think the family knew what type of person he was, but he was just always still invited to the family goddamn events. And it was just like, you're forced to speak and be around this person. And I told, and my mom kind of like brushing it away, that pissed me off. And then it was like, when I was in Afghanistan, this guy from Morocco tried to sexually assault me. He was supposed to be showing me the base and area I worked at. And he tried to grab and hold on my thigh, and I had to attack him. And again, I reached out to my mom, and she's like, "Well, why would somebody want to come on to you? You look like the way you do because my parents' low haircut." And that kind of like crushed me, and it kind of just brought all the problems back full circle. So yeah, so I dealt with a lot of doubt. My mother got shot going to the laundromat and hit by a car the same block, 2 years apart.
On some straight shit or somebody was coming at her?
No, it's like she was an innocent bystander. Another time the person was just rushing and hit her. Then I've been hospitalized over 50 plus times with seizures, breathing issues and things like that. Then not having the support. I had a stroke when I was 26, so in Atlanta when I was living there, and then they have nobody.
Was that like from stress or something?
Yeah, it was from stress. But they have nobody come, see me in the hospital and check to see I was okay. So I can count on 5 times on my hand how many times I've been supported in my hospitalizations. So I just always felt abandoned and a loner. And then one of the bigger things that affected me was my dad lived a double life. He was, cheating on my mom. So he never came to any, like, none of my parents came to, like, any of my games or anything in high school. Nothing that I did extracurricular-wise. They didn't come to.
Neither of them.
Neither. And even if the games landed on their day off, they wasn't there. And it would put the ice on the cake as my Army graduation. So you graduated 500-something people, and you the only person that had nobody in the audience. And it was like my 18th, 1 week after my 18th birthday. So I'm just used to like being disappointed. So I always expect people to disappoint me.
Alrighty then. So now, I get a full picture now.
Yeah. So yeah. So
and shout out to again. Shout out to your, I don't want to say maturity, but your ability to look past that. And would you say that to forgive them in a sense. I know you kind of reiterate, but I guess I would like to hear you expound on it. So would you say that your place of forgiving them was more so just because of where you're at, or like you felt it was necessary for your growth and health and like progression?
My growth and health and progression, and then
because that's astounding to me to be able to move past all that and be able to forgive them.
No, I had some resentment. I was bad, as I got older. Sometimes you talk and you got a little attitude and bass in your voice. You know what I mean? And like I said, my dad, I said something in my book because my dad used alcohol. Sometimes he got a little upset, took it out. But I started understanding what he was going through because my dad was from Liberia. And his family and the pressure they gave him with being in America and trying to still take care of them over there or him up and leaving. So he dealt with stuff as I got older that I was like, this probably was...
Like, all right, I kind of get it now.
No, listen, you're wrong. So certain things you can't get a pass
Context.
on. You can't get a pass on, but I wasn't going to be able to heal as a person if I didn't forgive. So I had to.
That's very interesting because, of course, I've never dealt with anything to that level of degree, but I've always looked at things as like, and I get this with both my parents. Again, they've dealt with similar situations like that with family, and a lot of people are like, okay, why are you always kind of so close and that? And it's like, it's really from both my parents because they both deal with shit like, fuck you, I just move on type thing, whatever. And especially with the whole like uncle thing, because that's one thing that I see a lot of women speak out on those type of situations on social media. And that's just one thing that really just runs through me, because I just don't understand how people like that. And that's again, my family's fucked up in a lot of ways. That's just one thing to my knowledge we didn't deal with, like the pedophile person, and we just going, like, we didn't hear that or see that. And you know how you get. You know how you get when you get a little on. It's like, nah, like that's just that shit.
It was just like, he like young people. That's not an excuse.
I just can't understand that shit. And then, as that's your child, because, I've heard from a few people at this point in my life when they say the relatives stick up for him, like, his sister or...
Yeah, so when people don't believe you it's a punch in the gut. And then it starts the changing the behavior in school. It starts the things, because I'm surprised I even got a bachelor's degree, how much I just went downhill from school after certain experiences, certain things. It was like, y'all don't care, I don't care. So I had that mentality for a long time. I didn't even know I was going to make it past basic training because I was so combative and wanted to be the rebel, and something turned around. And I think I just had high hopes my parents was going to be at graduation. Like, I'm like, yeah, I did this. And so when they didn't, it kind of put me back in, down spirits again.
So speaking of that, that's a good point. So was getting through the military and basic training and shit, was that like difficult to deal with that, level of combativeness that comes with them trying to break you down and build you back up, but also coming from everything you've come from trauma-wise? Like, was that like a hindrance, or you're like, no, I'm just I want to get through this no matter what type shit?
Well, I went into the military is to get away, but also I wanted to give something for my parents to be proud of, because since they never came and supported me in things I did when I was, living under their roof, I figured, like, this is going to be it. I'm doing something for my country, and I was gung-ho, because I signed up 2 months after 9/11. So I was ready, but it didn't, so it was just like, wow. I mean, they stated that they was proud of me. They wound up coming to like a smaller graduation, but it didn't. It's just like, it was all, I just always was let down when I needed them the most. Yeah. So, but we made it past that.
Because you mentioned you being lesbian, did your sexuality play any part of like any riffs or anything like that? Because
I know that my father cousin didn't really accept it. I know it's not accepted back at home. No, because I really didn't bring it to their face like that. I try to keep it out of their face. I know it was things said about me. I overheard conversations, but I wasn't going to stop being who I was. So.
Was it like a coming out moment or like that, or no? What's understood doesn't have to be said.
I told him around 15 or 16. I told him around.
And you kind of always knew it?
Yeah, I don't want to say I was born like that, but I just know, like, when everybody was talking about boys, I was thinking about girls. And I was like, man, this is shit wrong. And I was just like, I guess I'm going to be wrong. Because I couldn't, as I got older, I couldn't fight it off. So, yeah, I love women a lot. Probably too much.
What's your type?
I like somebody that can stimulate my mind. You get over that looks phase real fast when they don't.
No, you're absolutely right. I hate stupid people. I hate unambitious people. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you get real.
Hate people is not funny.
Personality, people heart, and things like that.
Let's talk about the surface though. What's your type surface wise? I'm curious. From a woman's standpoint.
I date them light, dark, whatever, like complexion. You beautiful, but I like mine that seem a little spicy.
Okay.
It look like they like to start some trouble. They talk big. I don't know why, but I like them a little spicy.
Okay, cool.
But I like them like strong-minded. I like them to be strong. I want them like a lot of women when they deal with men, they gotta kind of like be submissive and play the background and let them be. I like them to be strong who they are, because you don't want to dim nobody like just I feel like sometimes a lot of times women dim they light for their partner. With me, I don't mind somebody having the spotlight. I feel like I done had the spotlight on me too much as coming up, so I don't mind them having the spotlight. I don't mind them walking with a bunch of confidence. They the breadwinner. I mean, I wish I ran into somebody that was the breadwinner, but I wouldn't even care if they was the breadwinner or not. Like, I want a woman to be bold, beautiful, and everything that she needs to be, because, we're strong individuals. We do a lot. We have a lot of responsibilities.
Has all your trauma, has that played a part in relationships not working out or difficulties?
Yes, because I never had a long-term relationship. So
what's the longest?
2.5 years.
Something.
It's something.
Something.
It starts.
I've heard worse. Like
no, it starts getting real weird after the 2-year mark.
Got you.
But I know my move because I went untreated for so long. So I was diagnosed in 2012. I ain't start trying to get help until 27. After my suicide attempt is when I really started getting help. So yeah, mood swings and low tolerance for certain things. So once somebody turned me off, it's kind of hard for me to come back. I don't look at them the same, because I gave my parents so many chances after chances, and my heart was broke. So when I give people a certain amount of chances and then it hits a cutoff point, I'm just done. But I used to think it was really all me, but then most of them try to come back, so I'm like, maybe it wasn't all me. Okay. So.
Okay, so would you so is butch an actual classification? Is that a thing? I know you said lesbian. Like, is that like where are these terms like?
Somebody made them up and passed them on. When I came out,
by them? Or?
I'm not in the secret society. I understand the LGBT, all that. I'm me. I know when I came up, it was film, aggressive film, soft butch, hard butch. Then it was like the trans and all that, but I was considered a soft butch.
Okay.
And then more so, the difference between the soft butch and the hard butch is some of them kind of like really identify with a man, and then they don't like to be touched. So whereas those soft butch, they'll be, they'll allow their woman to touch. But nowadays they call me a stud. Or
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Or when guys are upset that we're taking their woman, we're a dyke ass bitch.
Talk heavy. So dyke is always.
But it's a bundle of sticks.
Slur type shit, like.
Yeah, some girls get offended. I don't care. It's what you answer to. It's like Ashley, dyke, stud. That stuff don't bother me. What bothered me was when like somebody called me crazy. That used to offend me a little bit because I knew what I was battling with. They didn't know. So I always didn't like people call me crazy or weird. But then when you start to get into yourself and you know yourself, you cool. But it's a bunch of terminologies. I'm lesbian. I like girls. I'll never mess with a girl that dress like a boy like myself. That's gay to me.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
That's gay
That's
to me.
too gay. I know those people that do it, and I've seen a lot when I moved to Atlanta. And listen, all power to you. I understand when the clothes come off, your hair but I want somebody appealing to make me take their clothes off. And a girl dressing
makes sense to me.
like a boy is not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't knock nobody that does that.
And so when you start coming into your lesbianness, was it always like what made you start to be like, all right, I want to start dressing more soft butches or whatever? Like,
Well, I always dressed like this, so it was always
tomboyish
t-shirt, tomboys, t-shirt, jeans. Even when I had my first boyfriend, I was dressing like this. So it was just like once I chopped the hair off, that was it. So it wasn't a thing like I never liked to be that person that was revealing their body or wearing tight clothes. Tight clothes is not comfortable.
Hey, makes total sense to me. Like, I don't know what the fuck girls are wearing out. Of course, I like it. Of course, you look amazing, but I'm like, is that really comfortable? I mean, titties look tight in there, but I like it.
So
have you? Speaking of taking niggas bitches, you've turned out girls in your day. Well, I never really did this before.
Sometimes I think they lying, but
I mean, they definitely lying.
yeah, I definitely think they lying, but
You heard that lie before though.
I heard that lie before, and then you deal with them, and it's like this is very experienced.
Yeah, you seem
like wait a minute, she's turning me the fuck out.
You seem
so
above intermediate, like.
No, but I have my few share of people that, I have my few share that
Gotcha.
I feel like they never thought about being like a lot of girls like to test it out sexual wise, never a relationship. But I think I opened some people's minds out like, you know what, I can be with a woman. And I pat myself on the back for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Like Young and May Emergence has like really been interesting. I've seen because she dresses like a boy in a sense, whatever. I would think she would consider herself in the butch category of shit, whatever.
Yeah.
But straight women be like, it's something about Young and May though. I'd be like, but it's a girl still. So like, what? It's interesting to me. Like,
I tell people, don't even try to understand it.
Oh yeah, hell no, yeah. It's never that deep.
Yeah, don't even try to understand it because I know a lot of guys be like, okay, you messing with a girl that look like a guy, so why not just deal with us? But it's just what they like, because it's like when you take the clothes off, you're not dealing with a guy unless they one of those people that got surgery. I kind of leave people alone that feel like they got to change their sex because that's something mental. If somebody feel like they wasn't supposed to be in a certain body, you just leave them alone, let them be who they want to be. Because I can't, even me being a lesbian, I can't understand what a person that's trans, how they feel. That's a whole nother level. I don't want to disrespect nobody, so I just let them be them. You respect me, I'm going to respect you, and that's it. But it's complicated. A lot of people always ask, well, why are you, like women? I'm just not emotionally attached to men. It wasn't because somebody tried to touch on me. It wasn't, nobody ain't break my heart. I ain't have nobody, baby father did me dirty and I'm just saying F this. I wasn't, I just not emotionally attached. They don't do anything to me. They don't tickle my fancy.
But you are attracted to some men though?
No, but I can tell, I have a lot of straight friends, so I'm not that, you got some gay women that be like, oh my God, men's so ugly.
Right.
You're going too deep.
Right.
You can say if the guy's attractive or not, because there's nice looking men out there. And so my friend be like, how you feel about him? Oh, he's nice looking. Y'all look like it don't mean nothing to me. When you're secure with yourself, you can give compliments. It's like guys still give me compliments, even though I know they're always that goal of let me flip this girl. That's always in the back of some guy head, but they still give me compliments.
That's a different type of ego.
Okay, yeah, but I can still cute, a nice looking man.
Thank you.
And it won't make me. I won't worry about what the next person will say. or anything like that. That's people that's insecure. You don't have
Yeah,
to
I
hate
didn't-
men
Yeah, I didn't know
to
that was a
be a
thing.
lesbian.
Like, of course, I've heard women say it in a sense.
Yeah.
But I always kind of think of it as like a troll or a joke. But I didn't know it was a thing of like, yeah, if you compliment a man too much, are you really gay? It's like,
Yeah,
that's
because I
interesting.
know girls that's hard butches that got 3 kids.
Facts.
So
Everybody know what it is.
So,
That's
yeah,
super
it's
facts.
just like, okay,
Mhm.
she walked, okay. Go, yeah.
To shift gears, since you mentioned it, so you want whatever you want to share about your suicide. What happened with that, and why? Well, I can imagine why, but why was it like a turning point in like to make a change or something?
No, I try to hide behind being successful with my mental illness. So I try to oh man, I'm getting a couple dollars, I'm traveling, I'm enjoying life. I got a nice car, ain't nothing wrong with me. I try to hide it, like I look like and blending in with everybody else, but deep down inside, something's wrong. I got to a point, and I had a bad gambling addiction. I just got to a point one night where
What would you like in casinos or like sports and shit?
casinos, blackjack and roulette, yeah, about $80,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost in 3 months.
Wow.
I got to a point one night where I just felt like nobody loved me, nobody had my back. Half the things I done for people, wouldn't do for me. I ain't feel love, and for a long time I didn't know what love was. I was just looking at TV or looking at other people's relationships, just trying to get a glimpse of what love was, because I didn't know what, like, when I was growing up, and it was dysfunction,
Right, definitely.
So it's like my dad, I had a 2-parent household, but I felt like I was in a single-parent household because how much my father cheated, and that I was raising myself. I had my sister's 51, my brother's 48, and I'm 34. So it was like, it just was a gap. I didn't feel it. So I just was like, maybe I'll feel better if I just wasn't here. Like, I don't have to worry about, who support me. So near the zoo, I try to drive off the bridge, and I guess I was so clumsy, I couldn't even kill myself right. So, and then after that happened,
You want to go from west to north, that bridge on the expressway, or?
Yeah, like if you're going coming from North Philly and you're going to 33rd and Girard.
Gotcha.
And I try to hit the thing and go. I left up the car, but I ain't really get nowhere. I dented it, but not enough. And once nothing happened, I just turned around and went to go check myself into an institution. I was there for a couple days, and that was weird. Take your shoestrings, your cell phone, all that good shit. And I was just like, I gotta do something about this. So I started going to a therapist. I still stayed away from the medication. I started going to a therapist, and I just, every week, I was seeing somebody and we were just talking about things. The more I talked about certain things that was hurting me, the better I was able to deal with it. See, I held everything in. I never communicated what was bothering me, what hurt me. It's like, I pop over people's house, hey, I'm just going to crash here for a couple of days. They not knowing, so I always was just running away from my problems. So I had to, once I almost did that, I had to deal with them.
The medication topic is always interesting because, of course, I hear about the side effects and how it affects you. So I get it on just a human level. I can imagine feeling like I need, or knowing that I need to take something, but I don't like that, how it makes me feel, like my body. But at the same time, when you chemically imbalance and you start doing certain shit because you off your meds, it's
yeah, it's a tough struggle. So I never tell people not to take it, because this is my body, this is what I choose to do. Then recently I did give one a chance, because when my dad passed September 11th, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep.
On September 11th.
Yeah. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't getting no more than 4 hours of sleep. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. And I did. And
real quick, of course it's being your father, but was it also a part of you of because it's damn, we just never gonna be able to make this as perfect as it can be, the relationship or the bond, or because I hear that from certain people, it's damn, even though this was like kind of like not a great relationship or great experience we've had or great times, but now there's literally no chance of ever rectifying it completely. Was that a sense of it? Or?
No, because when my dad started to get sick and his Parkinson's got worse, and I took my parents in 2016, I think once I took them in, they knew, like, you know, we good. Because I could have easily put them in a nursing home and went on about my business. I was planning on moving back to Georgia once I had graduated and got my degree. But I dealt with, normally you get one parent sick, that's it. I had two sick at the same time. So, no, the love was there. Yeah, like, of course, I wish little things could have been a little better. But I understood that he loved me, and that's all that mattered. So, it took me a long time to get this mature. Please, just know this didn't happen overnight. And I'm still immature in certain areas in my life, but I got mature enough to understand my mom and dad loved me the best way they knew how to. Because I don't know their examples of love that they were shown.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only say, just knowing them now, they loved me the best way they could.
And of course, you know.
They was financial lovers. Like, they wasn't time spent. So it's like when
but you never went without it.
Yeah, I definitely never went without. Like, my dad had a club and he worked at Just in the hospital for 25 years. My mom was always working, and so it wasn't like we didn't know if the lights was going. Like, we lived in the hood. I never understood why, because they made enough to be out of it. But I guess my dad came from Liberia, and the hood probably seemed like
just like home. Like,
it probably seemed like a mansions compared to where he might have came from.
Right.
So, but no.
And of course, you're not with men, of course, but is ever since to have kids and thinking about like how, of course, and we can imagine they dealt with certain traumas that trickle down to you. Do you think about how that trickle down to the next?
Yes, I always was scared, but I want to have children. One time I was like, I'll just push it out. I'm a female. And then I looked at it like, you know what, that process is not for me. So maybe I'll get one of these lovely young ladies to take my egg and have it. Or me, I don't know how people feel about it, but I'm okay with adopting. So many kids, broken homes and situations that need a lot of love from newborn. I don't mind. So I definitely want to have a child. I would like that to happen by the time I'm 36. Okay. So I'm turning 35. I don't want to be old trying to chase around no little child. So I do want it to happen.
And you feel this is like the right time? I guess a few years ago, you don't feel you would have been prepared or
no,
ready
I'm
for
glad
that.
I didn't. I wanted to have a child since 23, but I think I wanted to have it to kind of erase my childhood and kind of do over. I wouldn't be nowhere near right to have a child anytime before now. So I think now would be all right.
Okay. And do you consider yourself like a motivational speaker, and do you like motivational speakers?
I don't like all, because sometimes I feel like some people pitch a lie to grab people in. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm a motivational speaker, but I'd rather call it like a realist speaker, because I'm being real. I'm relatable, and I'm being real. I'm not pitching you something, because sometimes I feel like motivational speakers are pitching things that never really happen to gravitate to the audience. When people talk to me, it's going to be real and raw. I'm always going to give them real life experience and examples, whether it's my life or other people's life. And I think I'm a motivational speaker, but I'm just I'm a lot more authentic than most are.
I like it. Yeah, I agree. Like me, of course, I would love hearing about inspiration and motivation, but the delivery would bother me sometimes. I hate the performance factor of a lot of people. Like, I don't like to be yelled at. Like, it's not going to drive home the point even more or whatever. Yeah. But definitely, I can just listen to something and be like, that resonates. I feel that. I felt on a spiritual level.
Yeah, I don't got no gimmick. I'm going to say it's not going to be no perfect pitch. I'm going to probably sit on the table, or if I'm standing up, I'm going to talk with my hands. But I know when I leave the room, people going to be like, man, that was real.
And And so we already talked about your family, your sisters. How about some of your friends? Like, has there been like they learn more about you through the book, or have you learned some information from some of your friends? I know that happened with me. I had some controversy like a long time ago on the show where we was talking about suicide, and I was just saying, to reiterate, on a Quadruple episode, a bunch of shit around that time, I said at the time, I'm not for suicide. And that thing kind of got lost in translation. I was just saying that I can never imagine what certain people are going through to deal with certain things, but whatever you gotta do, just fight. I hope anybody could just fight through it. And a lot of people were just taking that and feeling like, you don't understand. I'm like, I can understand. I know I don't understand. But,
but your mindset is not to, not to give up. And people who want to do suicide, they just got to a point where they want to give up. Mm-hmm. And it might be. And
I feel like a lot of people.
It might be a split second.
And not to judge, it is what it is. But I feel like, to be frank, people don't go through half the shit you done been through, and not to judge. Oh, she didn't do it, but it's like just on a realistic, practical level of like life traumatizations and tribulations, shit like that. It's like. Is it that bad? Is life that crazy for like shit to be like to end it right now? So, but again, everyone has their own struggles. But I'll say
I'm not judgmental.
I still to say that one of my friends came to me and said how I didn't know anything about it. She came into my certain shit she deals with, and I was like, it made me think like, damn, if she would have killed herself, I would never knew, and it would have been a shock to me. I'd been like, wow. So it didn't change my perspective, but it just made me think like. The age old saying, you just never know. So,
Yeah, because you got people that do it. You got some people who like, oh shit, I'm not doing life in jail. I'm going to take my...
Oh, that's totally different.
Yeah, you got people that do it.
Get me the fuck out of here. And also, to that same point, I've also said that there's certain ways I don't plan to live. Like, if I'm paralyzed, take me out. I'm not doing it. It's $1 Million Baby. Totally understand. You ever seen the movie? Totally understood it. Hillary Swank, she's like, I'm not living like this. Hell no. So yeah, I definitely like those situations. I just can't be like I can't. Certain thing I'm not trying to just live through. Yeah.
Some people is different. Like I just at one point lost all hope and faith in people, and and then it was just like when you continuously be there for people and you forgive them. And it keep letting you down. It's just like, I don't want to keep going through this emotion over and over. So imagine with a little kid that gets bullied in school, and they're like in 4th and 5th grade, and they know they got to go to school all these years, and they don't know if it's going to get no better. They don't have the concept of like how we got the mental capacity to think like, oh, the day is going to get better. It's a light at the end of the tunnel. They're like, man, I'm in the 4th grade. They're beating me up every day. They're talking about me every day. I told my mom, I told the teacher, it won't stop. I gotta go to school 7 more years.
Yeah, in that regard, I don't know. Cause I hear about how a lot of the rates of kids suicide is crazy right now.
And then TV don't help.
Right. I don't know what the fuck it could be. Like the media. I don't know. And again, I think it's the home because no matter what I was going through.
But I tell people this. They're not looking at it like, they're looking at it like, if this happened, I'm going to sleep. Because they always think of death as sleep. I'm going to go to sleep, I'm not going to wake up, and I'm going to be fine. They don't know the ramifications and what it really means. So kids don't have some of that capacity to understand, like, this is it. I think a lot of them think they're going to go to sleep. And if they ever do wake back up, this is never going to happen again. But they don't understand, like, at that moment, they don't just going to be here no more. So they figure, because when we take little kids to funerals, you say, oh, Auntie's going to sleep. She's going to heaven. And so when they going through problems, they're like, well, I'm going to go to sleep and go to heaven.
Let's go to heaven, the best place. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've always said, like, the perspective in relation to death is always an interesting thing that people have. Like, some people are terrified of, some people are...
I'm actually terrified of it.
I'm terrified of it too, but I've always had an understanding of it though. Like my whole life, my mom and me, I've always thought about dying. I've always but at the same time,
I thought it was weird for that.
Oh, and I've always had a fear of I don't want to die. Like I wonder how it's gonna happen. I hope it ain't too crazy. I hope it's a long time away. I've always had to understand, when you say that, I can understand how some people weren't raised that word, so they don't have like the connection to it. Like, no, like I know what that is versus like the sleeping thing. When I was a child, I'm like, nah, like I don't want to die. Like it's like so. But you know, now I'm getting into some speed round question real quick. So get you on your toes. Speed round. So if you could choose to live without one of your 5 senses, which would it be?
Oh.
Fumble.
Oh, hearing.
Okay. In what ways are you the same as your childhood self?
Silly.
If you're in a bad mood, do you prefer to be left alone or have someone cheer you up?
Left alone.
If you could master one skill you don't have right now, what would it be?
Put me first.
Okay. What stands between you and happiness?
My mindset.
Would you rather discover something great and share, or discover something evil and prevent it?
I would rather discover something great and share it.
Okay. What characteristic do you most admire in others?
Resiliency.
What's your life motto or philosophy you live by?
Acknowledge, accept, absorb, which is in my book. Acknowledge who you are. You know, accept who you are, and absorb what you got to do to be the best version of yourself.
The number one place in the world you want to visit?
Maldives.
Worst pain you ever felt?
Me being in New York and my father passing away. Me being in New York on 9/11 and my dad dying this past 9/11.
World peace or inner peace?
Inner peace.
Favorite curse word?
Fuck.
If you met God, what would you want to say to him or her, and what would you want him or her to say to you?
God, listen. I know you.
Listen.
I know you feel some type of way about homosexuality, but dog, I don't like dudes. And what I want him to say to me, it was like, I just want him to be like, you know, Ashley, you did more good than bad. Come on up here to heaven.
If you could have dinner with anybody, any 2 people, one dead and one alive, who would they be?
Albert Einstein and Tyler Perry.
If you had $1 billion, what would be the first luxurious thing you buy for yourself?
I buy my dad club bag. And then a yacht.
Luxurious.
Oh, luxurious? A yacht.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Intelligent, sexy, adventurous.
Alright. Favorite movie and favorite album? It could be one. First one's that rattle, but you know, album and movie.
Thin line between love and hate. And favorite album? I had to go with, I can't remember the title actually. DMX. First album.
First one is Dark as Hell.
Yeah.
If you can go back to any point in time in your life to give yourself some advice, when would it be and what would it be?
Wow, that's a tough one. Any point in time in my life. I go back to, I was like 13 years old, and I would just told myself to like, it would be, you know, it'd have been better days ahead. Just like, you know, love yourself a little bit more.
If you found $10,000 right now, what would you do with it? Down to the dollar.
$10,000 down. Pay the IRS because I owe them 40.
What was the happiest day of your life, and what will be like the next happiest?
The happiest day of my life is probably between finishing this book and graduating college. So it's the tie between them two.
Describe this show in 3 words.
It was fun. It was nerve-wracking because you want to make sure you know, say the right things. But it was actually, you know, it was different. Like, different what I expected a podcast to be.
Cool. And what is the chapter of your life called?
Chapter I like right now? Chapter like growing.
Okay. Like it. Did you enjoy yourself today?
Yes, I had a blast. I had a blast. So,
well, glad to hear. I really enjoyed this conversation.
yeah.
So I'll let
back
you.
for more.
We'll do. Let you know right now. I don't read, but a lot of people I know read. So I'm definitely let them know to definitely check out the book and copy it. But yeah, so I got nothing for you. I'll skim it or something. So it doesn't.
No, listen. You know what's crazy? A lot of people come to me and be like, Ashley, I like you. I want to purchase your book. I know I ain't gonna never read it. And I say, you know what? It's cool. And I don't want your money. It's the message I'm trying to drive.
Sure.
So even if you want to skim it, just do it on Kindle, where it's like $4.99. Save you some money. Don't pay $20 for something that's going to sit on the shelf. Or if you're going to get it, give it to somebody you know is going to read it. So I won't take, when people tell me they're not going to read it, I don't take their money. So it's cool.
But did you want to mention anything you got coming up, or where they can get it?
Well, I'm on Amazon, Kindle. You can follow me on Instagram at ASH_215_. I have a book signing coming up November 16th at here at the Salon on 5313 Haverford Avenue. I'm going to be on TV, Unsung Heroes too, November 16th, and I got some more things coming. Work with Shantae and Natalie, the business doctor. So they're definitely helping me put together, keep this book, keep it going. So I'm coming. There's going to be more and more things you're going to start seeing of me.
All right, sounds good. Thank you again for coming. And again, so if you like this conversation, check out more. Every episode is different from the last. Subscribe and share. RightonQuelive, everything. Again, check out the album We Are Live, RightonQuelive. All that good stuff. Thank you again. RightonQuelive. Talk about it. We out.